There's the finished article just before I tuck into it and eat it. The method and quantities that I've used to make this bread all come from the River Cottage Handbook. It's number 3 of 10 books they make, so all credit to River Cottage, but it's certainly the best bread I've ever made, and it's yummy. Just make it and enjoy it. The ingredients and quantities I use to make this bread are as follows. I use Waitrose flour, very strong Canadian bread making flour. I'd say in England or in the United Kingdom is about the best flour you'll buy. That's my humble opinion. Salt, any old salt, I just use sea salt. You can use butter, flora, buttery. You need the dried fast acting yeast and water. These are the figures for the ones you've just seen. I made 2 loaves from 700 grams of flour, 420 millilitres of just lukewarm water, 3 teaspoons, that will be 3 of these little measures, a level teaspoon measure of salt. I used about, I think it's a tablespoon, one of these anyway, 15 ml of buttery. And then these are quite handy because there's 7 grams in each packet, so I just use a whole packet. The ratio of dried yeast to flour is 1%, salt is 2%, that stuff, can't remember, maybe 2%, it doesn't matter. So there's a mixed up dough. I'm kneading it. I've already done this for about 5 or 10 minutes, but it's important to bring it round and just stretch it out. If you look at it, see it pulling all of these, and each time all the glutens will be all stretched out. Quite a lot of effort. I'm a big bloke and I'm pressing down firmly, just squeezing, stretch it out, roll back and just keep going. It takes about 10 or 15 minutes. You'll know when it's done, because when it's done it's all nice and stretchy. There we go. So after kneading, we're getting ready for the, just press it down flat like this. It's not exactly a round I've got there, however, pull over, it's kind of about 8 times I suppose, like that, turn it over and then make it into a round. We're going to do this for the first rising. There we go, that's ready to put in my bowl. Just before you put it in the bowl, just run a little bit of fat. This needs to be quite clean, or not too dirty. Decide for yourself, okay? Just to stop all of the dough from sticking to it. And this might seem an odd one. Rub just a little bit just over the dough, and it stops it from drying up. I'm going to, there you are. See that? I'll just stop the air from getting to it. Put it into the bowl. I'm going to cover that with cling film. You have a look at the next video, the next link you'll see in a minute, and it'll be twice its size. So cling film all over. Leave it just at room temperature. It needn't be too warm. And that'll take about an hour to rise. Okay, there it is. That's about twice the size. So just take off the cling film. Keep that. This will just fall out. Knocking back is not really thumping it. You can see it's all looking quite squeezy. Just squeezing the air out really.
Or deflating.
Deflating, yeah, that'll do. So then, same thing again. So it's kind of 8 times, like a old-fashioned threepenny bit, I suppose. Turn it over and then make it back into a round again. And then we can rerun the fun. I won't bother to film it. I'll just coat this, just again a light coating of what was it, flora buttery, back in the pan and leave it to rest for about another hour. There we go. I've given the dough a second rising, it's doubled its size. Now I've cut it into 2, and then in the 2 halves, make each half into a nice round as before. Stick it on the top and cover it in cling film, plastic. It needs 15 minutes to rest now, so that's just what we're doing, just here. Had its 15 minutes rest, I've taken the plastic off. Just before I forget, if you do live in England, Waitrose strong white Canadian flour. It's the best. Anyway, back to this, okay? What we need to do is put it smooth side down I'm just going to again flatten it out a little bit. And all we're doing was just resting the glutens just now. That's probably about it. There we go. And then I'm just going to roll this all back towards me. There we go. Turn it out and just close up this seam as best we can. That'll do. And then stretch it out to about sort of twice its length. To be honest, there's no real easy way to do this. You just find a way that works. That's looking about it. And what we're going to do is start to put some tension in it now. So I'm going to just flatten this out. It does need to be quite flat. Bring this end over and this end over. Again, press that down, and now I'm pressing it into a square as best I can. You can see it's quite bouncy and fluffy. That's in itself quite a good place to be, actually. There we go. I can't really do much more. And then I'm just going to now roll it up again and get lots of tension into the loaf as I roll it. That's kind of our loaf made. Again, I'm just going to close up these ends. That's nearly it. And then really I'm going to shape it now as best. It's quite springy. I'm just shaping as best I can. We're going to end up with quite a rustic looking loaf. There we go. Okay. It's whatever suits you, to be honest. But a bit weird at that end. I don't care. It's all part of the fun. It's rustic. And rustic is what counts. We're going to leave that now for its next rise. I will cover it. I'm just going to make the other one, but it'll be... I'll put the two on here. This is half of my first mixture. I'll put the other one there. I'm going to cover them. Then they're going to proving that it works, and I need to go to double the size. There we are. There's the two loaves. I'm going to have one a little bit smaller than the other by the looks of it. Shaped them, cover them in flour, just put the, this is cling film, any plastic will do, back over them, and then we're going to leave them to prove for between 20 minutes, could even be up to 2 hours. They need to get near double the size they are now. I'll put my hand in. How can I scale this? There you go. See the size compared to my hand? We'll have a look at it in the next picture or video. These two loaves have been proving now for about 45 minutes, I should think. So they're kind of nearly double. If you just look at the size, they're quite big. This is the thing, they need to be springy. When you squeeze them, see how they push back? So that's actually quite good. And I've got, you're wondering why, a sprayer handy, sharp knife, oven. I'll just stand away from that. Preheat the tray, and in the bottom there's a glass dish. I'm going to put about a pint of boiling water in there in a minute. And the temperature is 250. You want it on absolutely, this is for a fan oven, maximum temperature. They're going to go in there in a minute. When I've done the next bit I'll show you, for 10 minutes. So look at them now. I'm about to slice the tops so that allow the glutens to free and the inner to cook properly. I've just cut these. Look at this. If it's all nice, watch this. A really sharp knife, just hold it gently, pull through about 1/2 inch deep, and you'll see as soon as I cut it, it's really good, it'll start opening up on its own. Oh, I've got a good feeling in my bones about this. Just don't drag it, let it definitely cut itself. You can always come back for a second pass if need be. And you can cut, it depends, up to you. You can cut this way, you can cut the long. They should all open out. That means the glutens and everything have stretched and expanded nicely. Do another one there, look, I can't resist it. Oh. Now, I'm going to spray them. This might seem odd if you haven't seen this before. It will stop them rising too quickly. What we're going to go for is oven rise. And then once they cook, they'll set. So that you'll see them in a minute. Well, in 10 minutes time I'll show you, they'll be twice the size. That'll do, thank you. been in my oven for 10 minutes now. I need to keep the camera away because steam's going to come out. Now, we've got a choice. How brown do they look? Medium. So I'm going to bring my temperature down, I think, to about 180. Let's have a look. Maybe 170. There we do. Come back in half an hour. The moment of truth. Off with the oven. Oh, ow, it's hot. There we go. Let's bring those babies out. Lovely. And let's just have a little look. Not much I can do about it now. It's cooked, really. However, let's pick it up. There we are. There's our fresh bread. Nearly cooled down. Listen to that. Oh, it's lovely. Look at this. Oh, beautiful. If only you could smell that. I'm going to eat it. You're not going to watch that. There you are. Go and make some. Let's make